Welcome to Samvadanam. This is Mridula Anand in conversation with Anjani and Ashwini Srinivasan. Anjani Srinivasan is one of the notable and upcoming Vainika. She started giving concerts at the tender age of 8. She is a disciple of the legendary Vainika Srimati Kamala Ashwathamma, mother of Veena Vidishri Srimati E. Gayatri. She has performed in many sabhas, including the Music Academy, Shanmugananda Sabha, etc. She is a winner of All India Radio national level competition and a B graded artist of AIR. She has performed more than 1,300 concerts in public and private organizations. She also plays Veena for film recordings and other projects. Anjani has performed extensively overseas as well and has received many awards and accolades. She is a recipient of the Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbulakshmi Fellowship Award from the Shanmugananda Sabha Mumbai, which she received from the hands of the Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu. She has received Kalai Valarmani from the Tamil Nadu government, Child Prodigy Award from Rotary and Rotaract Club, Nadaganga Balakala Ratna, just to name a few. Ashwini Srinivasan started playing Mridangam at the age of 6. She started her training in Mridangam from Padma Shri, Dr. T.K. Murthy. Ashwini has performed more than 1,000 concerts all over India and abroad. She has also played in many Talavadya concerts along with her guru, Sri T.K. Murthy, and other eminent Vidwans. She has accompanied Mridangam to many well-known musicians and has received many prestigious awards and accolades and has also won many prizes. Ashwini also plays other percussion instruments like rhythm pad, cajon, etc. She is a winner of the Povo Amazing Kids Award and has got many titles like the Bala Kala Ratna, Laya Ganga, Child Prodigy Award, Kalai Valarmani from Tamil Nadu government, to just name a few. We're so glad to welcome Anjani and Ashwini today, the sisters, in completely two different fields, but always connected through their art. And we're so glad they were able to join them. They are reaching a huge audience. They have their own, almost like a fan base that rigorously follows whatever they do. And it's wonderful to see both of them collaborate and come together. And of course, there's a little bit of chest thumping because they were also part of RMT Samskriti in the initial stages. And as always, they're always part of the family as well. So we're so glad to welcome both of you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you,
Akka. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely our pleasure. But let me start off with something, right? You're used to performing in a lot of spaces, be it large sabhas, small sabhas, there never was an issue with that. And of course, we are used to performing to very few audience, to a larger audience. But now it's completely changed. Now we're looking at something where everything is online. Whatever you want to reach people is online. So how sustainable is it to perform and post online as artists who are used to a live audience, who suddenly come into an online platform? Now, I know there are advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, of course, are, the number of places you've gone where there's such limited audience, right? And you feel that, all the preparation, what all you wanted to present is completely lost because the audience is not there. That, of course, is there. But do you believe artists are able to reach a wider audience because of this transition? What are your thoughts on the sustainability of an online platform?
To be honest, I think the artists, to reach the wider audience, it's totally depending upon the popularity of the artist, popularity of the page, and quality of the concert. And I don't think it reaches the wider audience. Only the Carnatic audience they listen to this particularly.
Right.
So I think it's not sustainable. Online concerts are not sustainable. Yeah.
Really? That's it. Yes, Ashwini, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that we cannot survive with this online concert and all. So we hope that it gets back to normal soon because we are so much missing the live audience and the vibe we get from the live concert at venues is totally different from performing at home, setting up at home, performing in front of no one. So
yeah, you're in isolation, right? It's just a room and a camera and mics.
Yeah.
Its reaction is also important, right? When you're playing something, for example, Mridangam, when you're playing something, if somebody says sabash or a ballet or something like that, and you hear it, it makes you feel you want to do something more unique, right? Or you want to try something.
Yes.
And
we get inspired from the audience actually, and we get that expressions, as you said, reactions.
The rapport between the audience and artists,
it motivates us, and it encourages us
to create more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, beautifully said. Because what happens is, as a dancer, right, when I'm on stage, it's not that like a musician, I can't see the audience. I really can't see the audience. It's blacked out. But there is this connection you have with the orchestra, and maybe the first 2-3 rows of the audience, you actually see their reaction. Appo vandu you just feel, oh my God, it's idu unnu panna enna. Appuram vandu when you finish a core where somebody is clapping their hands, there is that reaction. But adu vandu complete illa illaya appo. I mean, you don't have that at all. But what about comments? But what about comments? So you put a video up, you get a lot of likes, you get people who subscribe. Isn't that, don't you think that is an encouragement for you? Not much.
Yes, we can see the comments only after the performance. So
very nice point.
Yeah. While performing, we don't get the inspiration, or we don't get any encouragement or motivation from the
correct. So it's not live, right? It's all
we don't even know if they are watching fully, or they are watching some parts of the performance.
Absolutely. They might be skipping, you know, wherever they want to go, they just skip and go to that.
Yeah. We don't know anything about who is watching us, or who is we don't know the person at all, actually. So
yeah,
that's very...
even in a sabha, even if you don't know their names, you see faces, you see reactions.
Yeah,
that is completely gone in an online performance. But I was, you know, sort of under the impression that perhaps you can reach a larger audience, as in a Western audience, or somebody outside India who might be interested, but they may never get to come and see you. Of course, we're hoping next year will be different. But suppose they can't travel, or they can't come and see you. Don't you think that is something that you're bridging, or you don't see that as a major point at all?
No, what you said is very right, actually. Those who can't come and watch us performing, it's a advantage for them and as well as us, actually. So this is a good thing about, this is one good thing.
One good thing. You're very clear that there's not many good things. Yeah. No, but absolutely. I mean, I sort of understand where you're going with it. Because I also, as an artist, I find it very difficult that the connection is not there. I am dancing to whatever I feel like, but there is some connect with the audience that is missing. But what about payments, or what about paid performances? Do you think that it is getting easier with online, or is it the same? I mean, does that even matter?
Those who have taken this as a profession, they need to survive, right? They need to get paid. Definitely.
Get paid well, actually.
So many of the organization, they ask for a free concert. Please do it for do it as a charity. You get an exposure. But
what about the artists who are doing it as full time, and who is doing it as a profession?
And they depend on this. They depend on this completely.
Yes, definitely. It becomes difficult for them when they perform a free concert. So
many free concerts, no?
Yeah. So online majority is
only free concerts.
Yeah. Most of
there are organizations, they pay well. I really appreciate them for that. We really appreciate them for that. Definitely.
No, I know, because it's very difficult. As an artist, it's very difficult when you ask for free concerts. I mean, even when RMT Samskriti, when we started, that was our biggest struggle. It was a small organization, which we were trying to pay whatever we could, right? At least it covered their Pakavadam, which is the maximum that you could do as a small organization. But this exposure versus pay, do you think that will ever go away? Why do you think that is even still now such a strong problem?
Because they take art and artists for granted, you know. That's the main thing, actually.
Yeah, main problem, right? I mean, it's See, the problem is also the number of artists. You have so many artists. I'm sure some of them are, some of them are willing to do it free.
Yes,
true. That's right.
If you don't do it free, then you miss a chance. That's the guilt that you face, right? But do you think it will change? Actually. Do you think it will change? Or what do you think should change in that?
It should change, actually. Hopefully, it will change. It will change, but we need patience. It's not going to happen anytime soon.
Absolutely. That is sort of given. That is given.
The mindset of the people should change. The mindset of the people and organizers, artists, everything should change. So only then we can make any full change in the.
Absolutely. I mean, even in the way things are modeled, right? Because a person who says that, I have had people who come and tell me that, here is a performance, but you do it for free because, you get exposure, of course, one. And two, if you don't do it, there are at least 15, 20 other people who are willing to do it. So if you don't do it, that's your loss. It's not our loss. The moment somebody comes and talks like that, you're always nervous that perhaps you have completely disappeared from the public eye, right? Nobody's even remembering what you perform. So that and the you want to be on that bandwagon and say, okay, now perform pandren, but it happens like that.
Yeah. It happens every time.
It happens everywhere in every art field, I think. But does it happen, you think, more now than before?
It has been there. It's happening now. It will also happen in future.
Yeah.
So it can't be changed. So நடக்கும் நடந்துதான் இருக்கும் அது அந்த பயம், the fear we have, no.
Absolutely. That almost you have missed out, always
in the public eye. Yeah.
And that is why I think a lot of artists take all these day jobs. I mean, they take other jobs. I mean, even me for that matter, I have another job. I also do this. That's because this is not sustainable. And the payment is not something, masa it's going to come into a concept, right? It's not like
unpredictable.
Exactly. It's the financial aspect of it is so unpredictable. But it's very difficult for youngsters to come up, right? I mean, the amount of, I've spoken to so many artists. In fact, last year or this year actually, we did the online RMT and we paid all the artists as always. And there were a few who told me, well, Akka, I usually don't get paid. And I was shocked because I said something, right? But he says, no. I mean, there are a lot of performances I've done free, but I've been asked to do free. It's very strange. You're asking me, can I give you this remuneration because, this is what we can give you. He said, that's not what I'm usually used to hear. But it was amazing the amount of effort and all that he put, right? Do you think that the youngsters now are facing that more, or is it like always?
They are facing, definitely. Unless you have a good support, to back up, it is going to be a difficult journey for them to go through.
I think every artist is doing that because of the passion they have, the love they have for the art. So that will be the base line for that point.
Kandipa. Absolutely. It is that love that pushes you to do it, right?
Love and passion for the art form they are doing. So that will be the reason, definitely.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. On topic of, arts and passion, I mean, both of you, I got you both together at the same time. So you collaborate extensively, right? Ashwini, you collaborate extensively with Anjani, the same for both of you, right? So what do you believe each one brings to your playing of whichever instrument that you're doing? So, for example, your instruments are very different. The way you project your instrument can be different. But sometimes what happens is when you collaborate, each one brings something different. They say, why don't you play it this way? Or see what I'm doing. Perhaps you can match to what I'm doing. So there is this learning that you all constantly doing amongst each other. Sometimes it's just like you want to go with the other person and make it sync. But other times it's like, no, I think this sounds better. So, maybe she can adjust according to what I'm doing, right? So tell us a little more about what you think each one helps in each other. Like there could be instances also. Like, for example, in a particular song, you wanted to play it in a particular way, But Anjani felt, no, this is a much better way to play it, or this might sit better. Were there instances like that, or were there instances when you completely had differing opinions and arguments? Of course, with sisters we have to explain. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
So first thing is that we are very blessed and fortunate to be born as sisters. So that's a very big advantage and blessing for us. So
we have each other.
Yeah.
I have a accompanist at home.
Yes.
So, and I have a main artist at home. So we get inspired from each other, and I feel that I explore more whenever I play with her. I become creative. I become innovative. So it gets the best out of me whenever I perform with her. So that is the main thing, and that's the biggest advantage to be exploring without any barriers, or I get to play very free. Whatever
exactly.
I think,
frankly, you can tell her, right? You don't need to worry.
Yeah. Yes. So,
and while on stage, I have the freedom to tell her, you play like this. You change the nada. Don't play like this. I can converse with her. She understands everything. The style of my playing, the patantram of my my patantram. She understands everything. She knows everything. So it's easy to communicate to her.
Right.
Communicate this point. You play like this. I need some other nada. Please do that. So
on the spot, she tells me that you need to change this nada, and I do that immediately on the spot while performing itself. So we just convert that while performing sometimes. So
and when I want to mix up songs, like for the wedding receptions, I have to play some medleys type. So, without a prior information, I change at that moment. Change it at the moment, and she changes accordingly. So this is something great we have. We share the greatest bond, and our wavelength matches.
Yeah, we don't perform as two different minds. So whenever we perform, each and every time we become as a one mind, same. We become one. So that's biggest blessing and God's grace, actually. That's the reason every concert becomes a success. Actually.
No, that's beautifully said. You play as one, you're not two people. And I like the fact that, as both of you are mentioning, but one thing, Ashwini, you're no main artist. When you are playing, you're the main artist. She's the accompanying artist. So both of you are like, that's how you are. So I definitely feel that's very important. But what I really liked is the fact that, when she says that, I want to change the nada, it's easy to communicate because you're not going to look as a separate person. And there is no this particular standing, right? If you're playing with external people, there is this, how senior are you, or how... Exactly. So it's almost like, okay, you're jamming together. It does not matter if it's on stage. It's as good as doing it at home and you're trying to think. Is there any, maybe do you remember a song particularly where you asked her to change a nada, or something specific that you played on stage that you wanted to change?
she played Venkatachala Nilayam. So we played the whole song, and due to the audience request, we had to do a different thing from that. So she immediately thought of playing Tamburi Miti Deva with this, doing the medley with this song. So she said on the spot by telling me to change the nadai. So I immediately changed the nadai. She started playing Tamburi Miti Deva. We merged the two songs into one. So that was fun actually.
That is the one I was saying, you know, the mix up of the songs while playing. I can tell her freely without getting judged, you know.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Yeah.
And the nice part is when you're changing, she picks it up, right? She'll pick up what you're doing. Definitely. And she'll also come quickly up to speed. Otherwise, it's always some surprise, like what are they playing? But that doesn't happen because you're more in sync. That is something that's very rare for artists. And more so, I think as sisters, the advantage is musically also you've grown together. The improvement from the last couple of years, both of you have noticed in each other, right? So that must also help a lot. So now you can trust the other person to go one level further. You know how well they can play or what is their strength. So that should help quite a bit also on stage, right?
True, exactly.
Yeah, because as you grow together, you always know, இந்த நட சரியாவே வரல அவளுக்கு இப்போ வந்து பிரமாதமா வாசிக்கிறான். You know, those are small things that come in, right? Or this ragam was never your strong point. You used to think so much about it. Now you can play the ragam in a more beautiful way and you explore. You become more very courageous, right? When you're trying to feel comfortable with something. And she understands it. I'm sure you pick up on each other.
Definitely. The grace with which she plays mridangam or be it any other instrument. She plays rhythm pad and cajon. Whatever she plays, I enjoy absolutely. Whatever she does. So this is...
and vice versa. So whatever she plays, I do enjoy it. So we get inspired from it. That's the point. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the maturity helps because any artist, they mature over a period of time. I mean, I've seen you when you were very young, and now when I hear it, it's not that it is, that was not good or anything. It was phenomenal even earlier. But there is this comfort and maturity that I know what I'm doing. Whatever you throw at me, I'll be able to handle. That maturity comes after so many years, so many failures and so many mistakes, right?
Yes.
We grew together. We grew.
It's a matter of musical growth. So
exactly. That's why I said musically you both grew together. It makes a huge difference even now. And you just pick off on each other, which is lovely. I mean, not everybody has that. play a lot of concerts. I see a lot of single songs that you're also playing, right? Songs that interest you, songs that you think will interest an audience. So do you think the audience has actually lost the patience for long concerts? Because nobody can sit in front of a laptop for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's very difficult. And also, the other way that I would like to look at it is, have online performances taught you anything that you think can use in a stage performance? So 2 questions. What are your thoughts? One is whether people can actually sit and listen anymore for all the longer concerts. The other one is, do you think you've learned something from online concerts that you can put on a stage?
For longer duration concerts, I think it's not preferable for online platforms, all the social media. So we prefer the singles to release one song like that.
The short songs are quick to listen, they're interesting. You're in the middle of something, you can just hear a song and go. Yeah, that's how you would like.
I think the longer duration concerts, listeners have been reduced. In yesteryears, they used to sit for a whole night and all. They used to sit and listen to the concerts because there were any distractions at that time. Only the concert, or there were even no TV. I used to listen from my guru that he used to play for more than 10 hours, 14 hours. But people used to sit just like that. They never go. They never get up and go during a Tanyavardhanam or anything. My guru used to have said so many stories about it. So now they obviously they have so much distractions. Like they have mobile at in the concert, so they can chat during listening to a concert, converse, whatever they can. There are so many distractions. So people sitting for a long duration concerts have drastically reduced. Actually, they are preferring a short concert, 1 hour, 2 hour. That's the maximum. They will say
maximum,
and we cannot expect them to sit for a whole concert. So they might get out during the middle of the concert. That's their whatever they are facing, difficulties facing. That's
but one thing I should say, Ashwini, most Tanyavardhanams people walk out. I still don't understand why, because I feel it's always the most, maybe because I'm interested in Laya as a different issue, but I find it very fascinating, and I always love how the Mridangist is able to, or even a Ghatam artist is able to bring it back into where they want it to come. They'll go on beautiful journey and then they will tie it right back into the song. For me, it's fascinating. My brother who co-founded RMT Samskriti is with me, Vikram. He is a Mridangist as well. So for him, he never understood why people used to get up and walk out during a Tanyavardhanam, which is very irritating because that artist is also playing, right? So
yeah.
The problem is that, these long concerts, they always used to suddenly disappear. And then they'll come back a little later and you're wondering what happened to that audience. They'll just get up. The moment somebody starts putting the talam, there are 10 people who walk out, It's very unfair.
Yeah.
But now on
I think they have their own reasons for we cannot going to be sitting for a
கட்டி போட்டு உட்கார வைக்க முடியாது.
டோரை பூட்டிடணும். எல்லா டோரும் பூட்டி விட்டுடும். No, but that is the saddest part, because I've seen it happen in concerts, and for me, I still was really surprised. But of course, they all want that one break. They think it's like a break, right? But what happens is that in online concerts, that level of time you don't have. So even your Tanyavardhanam is shortened to a large extent, right? At least to make it as crisp as possible. If you are given the chance of a Tanyavardhanam in an online concert, right?
And that is an advantage that they can skip the any part. They can skip the concert. So
you have this 10-second, click and go 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be there. The video is going to be there, so they can
watch it anytime. They can skip it anytime. They can do anything they want.
They can, yeah.
So
that's a big advantage actually.
For listeners.
Yeah, for listeners, that's a biggest advantage. So,
but actually, even for the performance, it's an advantage because you don't see people leaving during the Tanyavardhanam. You don't even know if they skipped during the Tanyavardhanam.
Right.
It's all online. You don't know what they're doing also. But that's what happens. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth of it. And I think online concerts have made us realize that you can do a quick song, and now you have WhatsApp forward, so you just forward it everywhere, so that one song can become viral or whatever, right? You don't need the entire whole 1 hour festival to be played. So these are all really amazing things. But what do you think you have learned from online festivals that you can, or online platforms? What do you think you will take to a regular concert now? Next year, if the Sabhas open up, do you think you will take something, or do you think that something has changed in the taste?
In a funny way, that we can take a video of the live concert and post it later. Post it. It will become a both live and
absolutely. Absolutely, I completely agree, because now those who couldn't come to the performance will come later on, right, online.
Yes, so that is one thing we can definitely take from the online concert.
And it is like we are practicing at home, so we get more ideas. We have to keep in mind while playing, playing at the real stage,
at the venue. Correct. Absolutely.
So
they become conscious, become more responsible.
Yeah.
So,
and one advantage I think is there, when you record a video, put it online, people will comment and say they like this, or this was very beautiful, or this was very crisp, it was very nice. This Raga Alapna was so nice. That's a very nice feedback you're getting, almost like as you said, like your practice session. You're getting such valuable feedback for your practice session. You can take that same and put it in a concert, because that is something that people appreciate, right? So it's almost like a feedback that you have got during your practice, because normally when you go to your Sabha, your practice is very private. You're not going to post videos of your practice sessions at all. But the moment you post these online videos, it's all properly practiced, professionally taken. So that the feedback also will be specific in what they. So that should help, right?
Correct. Yeah,
definitely. That's what I came to say.
Yeah, and we are hoping that at some point, you guys will be performing on stage. We don't know when. We are hoping very soon. We all seem to be in lockdown forever, so it's quite tiring. But how tired do you become of taking videos and posting online?
Yeah, definitely we have.
That's a huge story. That's a long story. See,
then our please, instruments you must say.
Big. Yeah, we're packing and unpacking the veena and all the accessories. You see,
the speakers, wires,
huge speakers, wires. To set up the ambience for a concert,
we should move our sofa to the and make a space in the living room. So we should create a space, and we do the job of an audio person. We do a job of a video person, and
lighting,
everything, and setting the angle. Lighting, and after packing and unpacking of our instruments, setting up our instruments,
and playing all the playing the concert fully, finishing off.
Before we finish setting up these things, we just get drained out in that itself.
So you get so tired. Exactly.
Yeah.
One more challenge: people should not ring the doorbell. People should not walk in.
Oh God! Definitely. And the internet network should be smooth. Yeah, stable and smooth.
Exactly. Especially if you're doing a live, which I've stopped doing for the longest time, because suddenly I'll be talking, their internet will go off, and all of us will be like, somebody's completely missing on the other side. So I just stopped doing live. It's so painful now.
But one thing is, if we play anything mistake, if we do any mistake, we can redo that. I mean, redo that video again, which we can't do in the live performance.
Absolutely.
So, okay, yeah.
It has its pros, yeah.
Yeah, pros and cons are available.
Right now, there might be a lot more cons, but we will take the pros, because that's all we have to deal positively with whatever we have.
Yeah.
But it's been such a joy talking to both of you, and I think we laughed more than perhaps we spoke, but that's always a good sign. Thank you so much for joining. It was lovely to have you both, and as always, you're part of our group, so it's really nice to connect again and see you after so many years in such a wonderful place and where you're performing. So thank you so much for taking time off.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.